Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the program Sport Pizza, where we bring you the absolute best in the ever exciting world of sports. My name is Brownson Uwana, your host, and lots of things to talk about. This week is International Football Week. By the weekend, we'll be seeing the Super Eagles of Nigeria playing an all-important World Cup qualifiers. Now, we must get at least 4 points if we must progress to the playoff of the World Cup. It's going to be a really crunchy one because Cape Verde Highland is also on the menu. And of course, Liberia will be our first point of call on Saturday. So let's see how well that goes. Lots of other things to come up. Kamaru Usman, of course, still keeping it real in the UFC. Of course, got the all-important victory for himself. Now, in European football, it's managers in, managers out. Managers are even more busier, even last summer in the transfer window than even the players. And we are having that repeat again at this time. Who is going where? Find out later on the show. Of course, lots of other things we'll be talking about. But first, let's take a very quick break. When we come back, the show begins in full. Welcome back. My strike partner, Lakule Philip, joins me at this time. Kunle, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, top of the day to you, Brownson. It's great to be back once again to talk sports. And just like you said, I think I'm really very delighted for Kamaru Usman for that win against Covington. It was the second time running for him. And of course, he was able to get the job done. And for the World Cup qualifiers, Brownson, Nigeria, Liberia shouldn't be a big deal, but when you have
Cape Verde Island, who also have 7 points.
They have 7 points, and it's looking like the Eagles must just go out against Liberia and get the victory against them. Of course, time will tell whether that will come out at the end.
Now, let's look at the fact that this weekend, the Super Eagles of Nigeria would be involved in an all-important World Cup qualifying game against Cape Verde Island. It's a game that the Super Eagles must win if we must get to the World Cup. Now, a draw is not an option because Cape Verde, if we can get a draw against Cape Verde, that might be a better draw for us, but not against Liberia. It's going to be a crunchy one. And also the last game, which would be the decider, would be against the Cape Verde, the Cape Verdeans. And that game would be right here in Lagos. Then it's going to be a crunchy one. And also, Joe Igalo has returned for this one. Salisu Yusuf against all odds and all the corruption allegation against him is served FIFA ban. NFF has reinstated him and is going to be part of that squad. Some things we don't want to talk about, right? But let's look at the game aspect of this. This Super Eagles of Nigeria. We all know what's at stake as it stands right now on the table. We sit top of the table. Very impressive, 9 points. But if you look at the fact that closely following us is Cape Verde Highland with 7 points, who believe that at least 6 points would get them through to the African Cup of Nations. That's if the Super Eagles slip in any of the games. Central African Republic sits third on the table with 4 points. And of course, the Liberia, which we would be playing away from home. But the good thing about the Liberian game is it's going to be played on a neutral ground, so it favors no one. That game, Liberia, of course, has 3 points, Kunle. These things, you can be surprised how things can turn so fast in football.
Yeah, when you look at the caliber of teams we have in a group, and the one will have said that by now we should be true to the playoff. But the loss against Central African Republic was against all expectations. No one saw that coming at all. And some of us have asked the questions on the technical acumen of General Rob. Proud to the game from the first game against Liberia, which we won 2-0. Of course, the one we won against Cape Verde, 2-1. A lot of reservations about how we navigated the game. The game against Liberia right here in Lagos wasn't all that convincing. But of course, the brilliance of Kelechi Iheanacho, the Leicester City striker, came to full, and we carted away with the 3 maximum points. Against Cape Verde, yes, that was where we had the kudos went to General Rob because he had about 6 of his players, first players, missing in the game, but they were able to dig deep in Cape Verde, winning by 2-1. And the game, which will have cemented it for the Super Eagles against Central African Republic here in Nigeria, they probably are overconfidence or complacency setting in that game, and some of us really doubted the tactical acumen, like I said earlier, of the coach in that game, because we saw that the Central African Republic told everyone who cared to list. The coach said they were coming to play out a defensive game against Nigeria, which he did effectively. They were able to cut our excesses, and we didn't have the creativity in the midfield to break the defense down. And when they had their chance in the 9 minutes of the game, they got the winning goal, and it was a bit of a shock. And you could see even in the FIFA ranking, we dropped down the order because we lost to a team that was ranked over 120 outside of the of 100. But they redeemed their image. Though for me not too convincing again in Cameroon, winning the same team, Central African Republic, by 2-0, and that is why Cape Verde are saying, if Central African Republic will beat Nigeria, automatically they stand a chance of also getting the result. If they will have gone back to study the game the Central African Republic played against Nigeria, and they will want to fancy their chances, the Liberians will come at you. They were not giving the Super Eagles any form of respect in the game. The game we won by 2-0, and they will want to, they might act as a spoiler. Yes, they are mathematically they are out because they lost their last 2 games against Cape Verde, home and away, so they are out. But if care is not taken, they might act as a spoiler for Nigeria. That's why we have to go all out. The 1-0 loss against Cape Verde, against Central African Republic, should be a wake-up call for the Super Eagles. And of course, they need to go all out and beat the Liberians. Then the Cape Verde will come to Nigeria. I think it's not an excuse. No one will want to hear of it if Nigeria, the Eagles, are not able to beat Liberia. I mean, Cape Verde right here in Nigeria. So I think it shouldn't be a big deal. The likes of the Teranga Lions of Senegal, the Moroccans, the Tunisians, these teams are already booking their passage into the playoffs. So
and at this point of the competition, you can decide to bring in French players to test them out.
To test them out. But you could see the way the Eagles have been playing, they are not convincing. So you really have a lot of doubt that this team can beat. And this is just a phase where we are playing against smaller teams. In the playoff, we might likely be playing against Senegal. We might be playing against Tunisia, Algeria, the #1 team in Africa,
top teams.
Morocco. These are top teams. With the way the Eagles are playing, how are we going to be able to navigate the game?
You also need to know that
playoff?
Nigeria have survived this couple of times. Don't forget that the last World Cup qualifying game we played against Cameroon. Against our odds, there were lots of permutation talks about Cameroon, still being the indomitable Lions, which they still are. But against all odds, Super Eagles of Nigeria edged them and went to the World Cup.
Obviously, they have to up their game. I would really want to see the Eagles back into their glory days. It's not about the players, Brownson. I think they're not raw back then. With the players we had at our disposal, some of them are not, except for the likes of John Mikel Obi or Dion Ihalo, and some of the few players who were in the team with Fred Ndidi, and they were always playing very well. Victor Moses, let's not forget, this was a player who will take on the defenders, pick up the ball from the defense, run through to the attack. Is always a menace to our opponent in almost all the games. But we don't have Victor Moses right now. We have Moses Simon, who for me has not been convincing. Some of our wingers, the right wingers, hasn't been convincing. But Moses Simon for me
Chukwueze is back from injury. That's also a boost for us.
Chukwueze is back. And we also have that young man from CSK Moscow, the dribbler, the one who is ranked the 3rd best dribbler in the world right now. I think that it's not about the players. We have classical players right now. Some of our strikers are not even making the national team as we speak. We have Emmanuel Dennis of Watford, who is playing well. The coach banks on him a lot, but he has not been getting called up to the Super Eagles because our attack is loaded. When you say the attack is loaded, then you ask the question, why are the strikers not getting the goals? It's absolutely disappointing.
Big question there for General Raw to really look into. And it's saddening to see that the Super Eagles, as we play right now, there's no creative spark in that midfield. No one to create those killer passes. I watched Joel Obi last weekend against Roma, his team against Roma. I still feel it should be looked into. If John Igalo could get a call up, maybe Joel Obi should, because since we are not ready to move forward in our football, we can as well go back to history. Also, Mikel Obi, who has been, his contract has been terminated from the Kuwait club, can as well come back. Since we are not ready to move forward, let's go back to JJ Okocha can as well come back, because he remains one of the most creative thing that has happened to Nigerian football.
JJ has resigned. He has quit the national team, stopped playing active football. over 10 years ago. But for Mikel, I think there's this unconfirmed report that when Conte secured the job, his position as a gaffer of Tottenham Hotspur, he extended a call to himself and Victor Moses to be a part. Probably we can get Victor Moses and John Mikel will be in Tottenham come January. But of course, we're talking about getting creative players here. I'll be very delighted if we have Victor Moses back in the squad. And then even I wouldn't mind John Mikel Obi. I tell you, because we don't even have creative midfielders like that. Or John Igalo was brought back. So,
let me tell you, if at this point we said we're building for the future and we are returning back, even the nation too. So I think
that question should go to Amaju Melvin Pinnick.
So I think
he's the one returning us back.
Let's forget the future and
to
just
the past.
See how we can work on this one. Now, also on that same Saturday, Cape Verde Island will be taking on Central African Republic. Now, this is the part where we are hoping that Central African Republic can do Nigeria some favor in either drawing with Cape Verde Island or at least beating them outrightly, even though it's away from home for them. And on the 16th of November, Nigeria will be playing Cape Verde Island in the big game that would be a big decider of who finished Group C as the top of the table. Now, it is very important because if the Super Eagles finish this game top, we are going straight to the playoff. Also, it's dependent if we are going to win our next game, that if we win the game at away from home against Liberia. That's going to be very key. And on the same day, Liberia will be taking on Central African Republic. So all things being equal, that last game may be inconsequential, but let's see how well these teams play. Now, let's talk about two teams in the World Cup qualifiers who have done very well so far. In Group H, we have Senegal, who have played 4 games and have won all 4 games, 12 points. Now, the next team in that group is Togo. Togo is just on 4 points. Namibia, 4 points. Congo, 4 points. That means that Senegal has automatically qualified. That's how you show you're a big boy on the continent. Also, we have in Group I, Morocco, who has played 4 games and have won all 4 games, home and away. Fantastic. And with just 2 games to go, they've qualified because Guinea-Bissau is on 4 points. Equatorial Guinea is on 3 points. And of course, Sudan just 2 points. As it stands, they have qualified to the playoffs. Now, every other teams here, of course, South Africa, Ghana, and
that's a very
that's a very
there's another group where we have
South Africa is on 10 and Ghana is on 9 points.
I think the game that will decide who tops that group will be the game involving Ghana and South Africa right there in Ghana, because the South Africans defeated Ghana away from home. Yeah. So Ghana are holding it down. They are closing in the gap. The decider is going to be between Ghana and Nigeria I don't know why I keep mentioning Nigeria.
It's
South Africa.
It's going to be like an elephant fight.
I'm telling you, it's going to be the same way. when 2 elephants battles, the grass suffers. And one of the group as well, where we have the Cameroonians, the Indomitable Lions.
Group D has Ivory Coast 10 points, Cameroon 9 points.
Absolutely. It's
very close.
It's going to be very massive. It's going to be massive.
All right. And also, there's this group we've not really talked about. It is fantastic because Algeria, they played 4 games, won 3, drawn 1. Burkina Faso has played 4 games, they've won 3 as well, and drawn 1. So they are tied on points with Algeria, 10 points at least. Niger Republic 3 points, and of course Djibouti 0 points. They've been a whipping boy. So these games, this coming week, we are going to see some crunchy ties, especially games like this.
Absolutely. The game that will decide will be the game involving Algeria and Burkina Faso. I think that the Burkinabes will really have to be at their best to get the result. I think one of the draws the Algerians got was it was a bit of a surprise for everyone. One would have thought that they would have won that game, but of course they are still the #1 team in Africa, and one will expect them to pull through from this group.
It's unfortunate that Burkina Faso don't have Banze.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now.
That young man.
And also in 2013, they also have a certain player, Trippier.
Fantastic. Remember, it was a thorn in the flesh of the Super Eagles in the final of the the African Cup. Even a road to the final, it was absolutely fantastic. It gave us a very tough time, but these guys are, come on, they've actually
they paid their dues.
They paid their dues. I watched, I think one picture from Aristide's band some couple of weeks ago. It's looking very good. In fact, for some of those who have their reservations about his look, it's looking very, very cool right now.
He's a very handsome guy. We just want to consider. Let's take a very quick break. When we come back, the show continues. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now let's talk about mixed martial art for a moment. And when we talk about that, Kamaru Usman comes to mind. Now, the welterweight champion Kamaru Usman retained his title with a unanimous decision with an emphatic win over his opponent Colby Covington in the rematch. Now, after the first match, Covington made lots of noise and said that the victory was a fluke. Kamaru Usman came back with a grand style, even though it wasn't a knockout, but it was a win that cemented his position as the champion in that division, Kunle.
Yeah, fantastic one for Kamaru Usman. Though in the third round, it was looking like Covington was going to do the unexpected against Kamaru, but he was able to hold his own. And you remember that even in the second round, Kamaru had the upper hand. He actually hit him very hard on two different occasions. And it was looking like the bout was going to come to an end. Fantastic one for him, and it's his 19th victory in that welterweight category. We hope that he will continue to work stronger and continue to hoist the. We say he's hoisting the flag because he calls himself the Nigerian Nightmare, and
So he's a Nigerian. I mean, he flags the Nigerian flag in all his games. So not like Anthony Joshua, who is a British man, whether we like it or not.
Absolutely,
he's a British man. But Kamaru Usman flags the Nigerian flag.
Absolutely, and he came out after the bout that he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Everyone should respect him for that.
I totally agree with him.
Yeah, because of look at after the bout, Bronson, did you see Covington? He had to work on clutches. His right leg was damaged. I think that I hope he doesn't have his leg hasn't fractured.
Could I tell you stuff? I admire boxers because of the kind of money they earn, but I don't think any amount of money won't make me
because when they hit you, they put you in a spot. They hit you hard until they are told to stop. They hit you with all that, with the kicking. They kick you. They box you. They make sure that you are not able to raise your hand and leg again before they are stopped.
I still don't know why that's a sport.
It's damaging.
Let's leave that sports now and talk about football. Now, for FC Barcelona, they've got their man, Xavi Hernandez, has returned. And a lot of people have said that he will bring back the glory days of football back to FC Barcelona. He's doing well, or he did well with his former club in the Far East. But of course, coming back to FC Barcelona is going to be a very different ball game. The expectations are definitely high.
Yeah, the expectations are going to be very high because right now the Barcelona seems to be struggling in the continent and also in the league. And one expects everyone. That's why the security services to bring the team back to glory days. Remember, even as a player, he did very well, a product of La Masia, and he represented the club for 17 good years, where he won about 25 medals, trophies, winning the La Liga 8 times, and of course the UEFA Champions League 4 times. When you talk about Xavi Hernandez as a player, I tell you, for me, he's one of the greatest midfielders I've watched since I became mature watching football. I think that he's going to bring that wealth of experience to football. But then the playing football is completely different from
being a coach.
From being a coach.
But I think he has paid his dues. If you look at what he's done with Al-Sadd, you want to say that
Al-Sadd compared with some of this stuff. He's not been playing against top coaches in the world. But Rome wasn't built in a day. He has to begin from somewhere, and he said he's ready to take up the challenge. But time to tell whether he will be able to really do very well with Barcelona.
Definitely time will tell. Let's see how well that goes. Now, another manager who has gotten himself a new position to test his skills out as a manager. Now, another former player, Andrei Shevchenko, of course, he would be remembered for his glittering form with AC Milan, his glittering footballing days with AC Milan, won the league, won the Champions League, but as a manager, he's done well with the Ukrainian national team. But of course, against his new club, Genoa, in Italy, how will this one go? Because he has been appointed as coach of Genoa to run till 2024. Well, I'm not very sure about this.
Yeah, this is the first time he's taking up a club. He's going to be coaching a club. Remember, it was like you said, he was the coach of his national team, Ukraine, and of course, for the first time in their football history, he took them to the quarterfinal. But then coaching a national team and a club side is really a bit of a difference. But time will tell whether he will be able to do well. But I think that his pedigree speaks for him. You're as good as your last result. And if his last result is anything to go by, getting to the quarterfinal of the European Championship, I think is a good one for him. And I hope that he will be able to take Genoa to the greater heights.
And of course, as a striker, he understands what goal scoring is. Maybe we'll pass those knowledge to those younger players. Let's see how well they can do that.
Bronson, let's not forget, his first game is going to be against AS Roma, his former boss, talking about Jose Mourinho. I'm anxiously waiting to watch the game.
Of course, let's see if Shevchenko can take all the information he got in the dressing room against his former boss. Lampard did it in his first try, defeated Jose Mourinho. Let's see if Shevchenko can repeat that. Now, some coaches are coming in, some are going out. It's sad to say that Aston Villa manager, now before the show, Kunle was talking about the pedigree and the achievement he's made with the team. But, sometimes in football, those things doesn't count. You're as good as your last game. Dean Smith has been sacked as a manager of Aston Villa. Yeah,
Dean Smith, sad for him. I think that just like we always say, you're as good as your last result. If anything, the management really has to take into consideration what Dean Smith has achieved with Aston Villa, then he doesn't deserve a sack, because I remember back in 2018, they were in the championship. He brought them back with just one season. He brought them back to the EPL. Last season, it was the one that led Aston Villa to defeat Liverpool 7-2, and also got to the final of the Carabao Cup against Manchester City, and of course they lost that game. But of course he's been able to prove his mettle. But unfortunately, this season he has not been able to reenact that from losing 5 games on a bounce. I think that has actually led to a sack. Also, it's funny to say that Norwich also, after getting their first win of the season, sad to say that Daniel Farke also has joined the sacking list. He's gone, and we hear that Frank Lampard is most likely to take his position at Norwich City. Frank Lampard's good. Finally, some clubs are turning to his direction. I hope they don't return back to relegation, but I think for Falke it's been disappointing. For me, good decision, because I think the management knows exactly what they want. If things continue the way it is, the team might just be going back to relegation. They won against Brentford, no doubt about that. Was their first win in 10 games. So I think that the club had to take that decision. And if we can have Frank Lampard in the team, I think that Frank Lampard can actually, with his wealth of experience, bring them back to winning ways. And probably most of these clubs, I have my reservations about when you start coaches and all of that, because what is your ambition? Your ambition is to retain the EPL status.
I mean,
you don't get to sign good players.
That's a big
look for average players here and there, because that is what you can afford. But the coaches have to work with what they have. And if they don't deliver, the coaches get the boot most of the time.
You also have to agree that some coaches has a way of bringing out the best from players. Maybe Falke have done just like what we have in Manchester United, where for me,
I think
Manchester United, they've got the best squad, but they don't have a coach to harness the talent of these players.
Absolutely.
But that would exist for
if you bring Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Norwich, definitely.
Norwich? Solskjaer to Norwich. Thank you very much, Philip, for coming on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure, Ross.
But can you watch Sport Pizza and not have a slice of it? I bet you can. So let's give you a Sport Pizza Play of the Week. Enjoy it. With that's the wrap on our show today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We hope you enjoyed every bit of it because we did as well. Now, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen. Our Facebook page, you can drop a comment. We're so glad to hear from you. Also, go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to Spot Pizza, and of course, you can also watch previous episodes. My name is Brownson Uwana. On behalf of our production crew, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.